The Sinnoh League is where the Pokemon anime finally found its footing when it came to gym battles. Gym battles were now usually dedicated to an entire episode, well choreographed, abilities mattered, they were all peak basically. Whereas before it's been pretty easy to rank these battles from worst to best, we genuinely had a hard time ranking these battles outside of a few exceptions. In this Sinnoh run, Ash only lost once, that being to Rourke, his very first gym battle of the region, which leaves us with 9 battles to rank. With that being said, let's start off with the worst gym battle of the Sinnoh region, that being Crasher Wake. Crasher Wake splashes his way onto this list, but at least it was a somewhat memorable battle, if only thanks to the outcome. The 4th gym badge of a region is where Ash usually finds his footing on how to perform in the league challenge, and this was no different. Like most of the Sinnoh battles, this was a 3-on-3 battle. Ash puts his thinking cap on and decides to go with type advantage on this one. Knowing that Crasher Wake is a water type gym leader and leading with Gyarados, Ash decides to use his Pikachu. Pikachu has a pretty good track record against his Pokemon species as he's 4 times strong against it, so it's a no-brainer, and yep, this time proves to be no different. To tackle his weakness electricity, Wake sends out his Quagsire. Ash then plays smartly and switches Pikachu for Turtwig, which again is 4 times effective and he eventually defeats the derpy Pokemon. Wow, Ash thinking and making proper switches in a battle? Maybe we ranked this one too low. Finally, Wake sends out his ace Floatzel, to which the teamwork of Weasel and Pikachu is enough to end the Weasel's reign. So Ash won this battle 3-0, he didn't suffer a single defeat and that is extremely rare. As much as you know I love it when they finish battles in a non-conventional way of it being the last Pokemon on each side and whatnot, I don't know, this battle just didn't excite me as much. It was a good battle sure, but compared to literally every other battle on this list, I felt that there was something lacking. Is that weird? Like I said before, all the Sinnoh Gym battles were so good, this could easily place in the top 3 if not higher in every single one of our rankings thus far. But every list needs a loser, and I think Wake just crashed out here.
At number 8, we have Ash vs Candice. Ash vs Candice is a solid battle from start to finish. It's the only non-3v3 Sinnoh Gym battle and one of the very few 4v4s in the entire series. So for that, I'm glad it exists. But I also think that it being a 4v4 kinda hurt the execution of the battle, as some Pokemon are knocked out a little too quickly, hindering their chances at showing off their full potential in the battlefield. Gliscor especially was a tragic cannon fodder. Speaking of Gliscor, it bothers me that Ash brought 3 Pokemon that are weak to ice in this battle, regardless if they have moves that are good against them. You see, Ash has always been strategic in his Pokemon choices in Diamond and Pearl, and this is one of his worst choices. But despite that, this battle has a number of great moments. I like this scene of Sneasel skating around Grottle, wrapping it in Icy Wind, which allowed Grottle to show off what it learned from Pulsar Terra, to calmly take an attack before striking the finishing blow. Sneasel skating then inspires Ash to think of this out-of-the-box strategy to lead Abomasnow, who at that point is unbreakable and untouchable, into breaking this ice pillar so that Chimchar could use the broken pieces as skates. This is a key move that allows Chimchar to evade Abomasnow's attacks, deal a lot of damage, and tire it out, leading to Ash and Chimchar's well-deserved victory. I always like it when battles make good use of the battlefield, and this battle does a good job at it. So, despite some rushed moments, Ash vs Candice is still a battle worth watching.
What do you love?
I love defense!
And well, Yugimoto finds his way to the number 7 slot on this list. Yeah, when watching this battle I can only hear a Tem, and that low-key made this battle very enjoyable for me to watch. This is actually Dan Green's 4th appearance on our rankings thus far. I wonder if he's voiced the most gym leaders. Well, weird tangent out of the way, Byron was a fun and out of normalcy gym battle to watch. Why? Well, because...
I love defense!
Yeah, he likes fences, we get it. Would you believe it if I told you this was a 3-on-3 battle? He leads with a Bronzor that actually puts up a very formidable fight against Ash's Chimchar, who, as you'll see at the end of this video when I do the battle records, had an insane win rate in the Sinnoh Gym run. Eventually, Chimchar gets the upper hand, and so Byron goes to Steelix, who's got a pretty high...
I love Steelix!
Steelix manages to take down Weasel despite the latter's type advantage. Then it's Chimchar once again knocks out the Iron Snake after a very tough battle, which really takes its toll on the Fire Monkey. Then Byron sends out the literal embodiment of
Defense!
And it's wraps for Chimchar. Mind you, Chimchar only got knocked out twice throughout these gym battles, so that's a pretty big deal with a type disadvantage. Eventually, Ash is able to claim the victory with his Gliscor, who didn't do much in these battles, so it was nice to see him beat an ace in his very first gym battle. These battles showed great strategy on moves by both sides. Ash played very well, once again bringing in Pokemon that are advantageous against Byron, and Byron proves why he always says,
I love defense!
Because despite the disadvantage, it was an extremely close battle throughout. Had this battle had a few more wow factor moments, I could easily see it placing even higher. But for now, I wonder who made the number 6 spot.
Number 6 goes to Ash vs Gardenia. Ash vs Gardenia is probably one of the more forgettable battles on this list, but I actually think it's underrated. First, unlike the Candace battle, Ash makes excellent choices on which Pokemon to bring with him to the showdown. And like the Candace battle, this forest battlefield is utilized pretty well as Pokemon would hop on tree branches to evade attacks. As for Gardenia, her Pokemon were shown off really well. Cherubi and Turtwig are shown to be really fast grass types. If you look more closely, the execution of this battle has good storytelling. Cherubi shines bright thanks to the sun, easily charging up its solar beam. But then, Ash's Staravia uses the sun against it by going for a wing attack to glow its wings under the sun, blinding Cherubi, ultimately leading to its demise. Then later, Gardenia applies a similar tactic with Roserade's flash against Ash's Apom. But unlike Cherubi, who was vulnerable earlier, Apom uses its ears to locate Roserade's attacks and slam back a super effective Weather Ball. We also get some other great moments like Staravia outsmarting the perfect accuracy Magical Leaf by flying so high that it couldn't reach it. And then Staravia again feigning repetitive use of attacks to trap Turtwig in a twig, and also a cute and rootable Turtwig vs Turtwig battle, though I wish it ended in a different way than just having them tackle each other. And of course, Apom surrounding Roserade with stars before disrupting the rhythm, sending swift stars from all sides. It's honestly one of my favorite battle moments of all time. I just wish Roserade was shown to be more threatening, worthy of being called the ace, because Apom just brutally won that battle. As soon as Ash gains momentum, he doesn't give his opponent a chance to recover. Overall, Ash vs Gardenia had a sequence of rapid, snappy attacks and responses without feeling rushed, while at the same time keeping everything fresh.
Speaking of keeping things fresh, how about the very first gym battle of the region? That's right, number 5 goes to Roark. This was an elite way to start the region. Sure, 3 out of the first 4 regions start with a rock-type gym leader that owns a Geodude, but who's keeping track of stuff like that? They learned from their 2 previous iterations of this trope as they perfected it because Roark was a fantastic way to start the region. One episode prior to battling Ash, Roark battled against LUAPER spelled backwards in what was arguably an even better battle than this, and funny enough, that may very well be what prevents this from being a top 3 battle. Roark goes up-blazing by starting off with his Cranidos for this one, and it just tears up Ash's team. Cranidos made quick work of Apom and badly injured Pikachu before being brought down to a super effective Razor Leaf from Turtwig. Then Roark sends out his Onix, which went to town defeating the Grass Turtle despite being 4 times weak to it. It even throws us back to Ash vs Brock as it defeated Pikachu, but instead of tying it up viciously, he just screams really loudly at him. That's right, this battle ended 2-0 in Roark's favor as he never uses Geodude. I love it when battles end like this, it just feels more realistic, you know? Well, as realistic as losing to Screech is, but still. This battle showed us that the Sinnoh League was far from easy and he was going to have a really hard work if he wanted to earn all his badges. Well, actually this would be his only loss in the region, but we didn't know that at the time. If this battle had a bit more strategy like with Stealth Rocks, or perhaps a bit more switching from Ash's side, we could have really pegged this one up. Heck, I really think that them giving us such an amazing battle against Paul in the previous episode really hurt this one. Roark's got the same number of letters in his name as this place, so how can he not make the top 5? Not just once, but twice.
Right after a great first battle with Roark, we have an even greater second battle with him. Roark's Cranidos had just evolved in the previous episode, so Ash knew that he needed to plan and prepare for this battle even more carefully. And you can totally see this all throughout the battle. There were no wasted moves coming from Ash's side. Each command is a calculated attack and a well-thought response to Roark's moves. Ash had one stellar mechanic he skillfully utilized in this battle, and that is Spin Dodge. But what makes this move an exceptional centerpiece is when Roark manages to adapt and foil the Spin Dodge, Ash's Pokemon would just improvise and introduce another version of it. Then Roark would again figure out a way to foil it, so Ash's Pokemon would come up with another way to Spin Dodge. That's 3 different versions of Spin Dodge in a single battle. Besides that, this battle also had extra details that add richness to its story, one of which is a showcase of the Pokemon's abilities, where Pikachu inflicts static paralysis on Rampardos, where Rampardos just shuts it down thanks to Mold Breaker. Then, knowing Rampardos' Flamethrower is a huge threat for Turtwig, Ash decides to hide his Pokemon. And I guess the best place to hide a twig is in a forest, so Turtwig creates its own forest by launching a series of Razor Leaf directly at the Flamethrower to mask itself from its opponent. This leads to a clever and possibly pre-planned finish, where Ash commands Turtwig to jump, which causes Roark to also command his Rampardos to jump. But in actuality, it's just a fake out to allow Turtwig to Spin Dodge under Rampardos and deliver the finishing full-powered Razor Leaf. This battle had amazing storytelling and wasn't just a set of random attacks. If there's one thing I like to see more is for Onix and Geodude to be more threatening. Like, I wish this battle had the stealth rocks from Paul's battle, so we could see how Ash takes out the entry hazard. But hey, at least we get to see Seismic Toss in action again. Ash vs. Rourke Part 2 is a simple chef's kiss.
You know how I said that they like to keep the last battle of the region the best? Well, Volkner takes a number 3 spot. Yeah, somehow this wasn't the case for the Sinnoh region. Ash vs. Volkner was a great battle. In fact, they liked it so much they brought Volkner back in Pokemon Journeys to lose to Ash once again. But let's take a look at this battle and see what's up. Volkner leads with his Electivire as Ash goes with Torterra. And if there's one thing you know about Torterra, it's...
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
he should have just kept it as Turtwig. Volkner knows how to deal with his weakness, so he packed Ice Punch on this bad boy and he just whacks Torterra to take the early lead. Now it's time for Ash to continue to remind Volkner of his younger self as he sends out his Pikachu. Ash has luck on his side as he somehow manages to paralyze Electivire. Oh, they actually introduced that in Generation 6, so yeah, Ash, you good. Ash manages to take down Electivire, and now it's an even 2-on-2. Volkner decides to use a general electric type of his own, and sends out Jolteon, so Ash switches for Infernape. This one's pretty quick as Infernape gives him that 1-2 combo and knocks him out. Now it's time for the final gym leader Pokemon of Sinnoh, Volkner's Luxray. Luxray defeats Pikachu, and the real highlight of this battle is when Ash's Infernape activates Blaze, and finally listens to him. Once this happened, we all knew it was wraps, and after a decent back and forth between the two Pokemon, it's Infernape who emerges victorious, claiming Ash's ticket to the Sinnoh League. Infernape vs Luxray and Pikachu vs Electivire was really good, but the rest of the matchups felt really flat to me, and I think Torterra really carried this battle down. Sorry, bruh. Well, Volkner gets the bronze medal, and that's never bad.
The second best gym battle of Sinnoh is Ash vs Maylene. This battle just gets better and better the more it progresses. It begins with Ash's Staravia vs Maylene's Machoke, which is a solid set of attacks. Nothing too fancy, but it has that brutal energy only seen in a flying vs fighting matchup. As soon as Machoke is defeated, Maylene sends out her tricky Meditite, who I believe is a star of the mid-battle. It smartly switches between defensive protection and offensive setup at the perfect times, with moves like Detect and Meditate. Then with its physical attack boost, it charges a deadly streak of Drain Punch, which also heals it. And to top it all off, when its opponents are charging in for a powerful attack, Meditite's got the Broken Confusion move, which controls its opponent's movements and even afflicts them with Confusion status. But Ash has got the most practical response to this. That is, to switch out his Pokemon to remove the confusion. It's a basic but bulletproof tactic that I'm surprised we don't often see today. Ash switches Staravia back into the battlefield, who goes all in, preventing Meditite from utilizing its defensive tactics and taking its second win in the battle. What a dominant performance from our Brave Bird. Weasel's performance in this battle is nothing short of astounding. First, he masters a spinning Aqua Jet he used to train with Dawn. Then he learns a new move, Water Pulse, which fuses amazingly with Lucario's Aura Sphere, creating huge clashes that even break open the roof. And just when you think the battle's over, rain comes pouring down, elevating the atmosphere of the battlefield and, more importantly, activating Buizel's Swift Swim ability. So even if afflicted with paralysis by Lucario's Force Palm, Buizel is able to muster the agility to evade Lucario's attacks. The battle ends with a stormy showdown between Force Palm and a powerful combination of Aqua Jet and Water Pulse, forming Aqua Pulse, which exhausts both Pokemon, ending the battle in a draw. I'm sure a lot of people would prefer for Ash to win this, but the tie is essential to make it feel like both Ash and Maylene have won the battle. Ash gets his badge and Maylene gets her confidence back, so it's a beautiful end to the story. So far we've got some awesome battle techniques, like Aqua Pulse, Spin Dodge, Flamethrower Skating. What else are we missing?
Counter Shield, of course. That's why Fantina takes the top spot of this list. Huh, I guess it's kind of fitting since she is a top coordinator.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Like most other battles on this list, this was another 3-on-3 battle. Fantina leads with Gengar and Ash goes for Buizel. Now, Gengar is a menace, but Ash doesn't really have issues going against it. Ash was weary of Hypnosis since he'd lost to the Justice move in his last unofficial battle against Fantina, but nope, this time he came prepared. As Gengar goes for Hypnosis, Buizel goes for a new move as he spins around with Water Gun, blocking the rays of Hypnosis from landing. Fantina dubs this move as Counter Shield. I remember watching this move for the first time and my jaw was literally on the floor. What a sick ass combo that left everybody impressed. This move was really generational as it transcended into the Sinnoh League and even the Masters 8. This battle was that important. Buizel eventually has enough in the tank to defeat the Ghost and claim the first victory for Ash. Up next is Mismagius for Fantina, and Ash decides to send out Chimchar, who takes out Mismagius and gives Ash a 2-0 lead in knockouts. Should be smooth sailing from here, but nope. Fantina sends out her ace Drifblim, who proceeds to knock out both Pikachu and Buizel, which is no easy task. But not only this, she uses counter shield against Ash, not once but twice. What an elite move and something that only a highly skilled trainer could pull off after seeing it in that very same battle. Eventually, Chimchar is able to come in clutch and secure the victory for Ash, the first of many Sinnoh League lockouts for the baby. This was a fantastic battle on both sides and was highly entertaining. It also helped having the GOAT Barry on the stands, and his commentary was 10 out of 10.
Come on, Ash, I don't need to learn what a loser you are, I already know that!
He probably did exactly what the episode prior to this called after watching this battle. Now for my favorite part of these videos, it's time for the battle records. Ash only used 7 different Pokemon during his time in the Sinnoh Gym run. Surprisingly, the Pokemon who performed the worst was actually Pikachu. Pikachu appeared in 5 battles and managed a 3-4 record in the process, which makes it its worst performance to date. And ironically, he was the only Pokemon with a negative win rate. For the Pokemon with a 50% win rate, we have Apom, who was used for Rourke and Gardenia, and Gliscor, who was used twice, beating Byron's Bastiodon but losing to Candice. And Torterra, who also appeared in 5 battles. He started off strong, but just like his story, it all went down after evolution. We have another tie as Staraptor and Buizel both went 4-3. Buizel appeared in 4 battles and actually started 4-1 before going down in his last 2 appearances. Staraptor was just consistently doing its thing and helping out whenever it could. And finally, the unanimous MVP of this Sinnoh run is Infernape, who went an impressive 8-2. It lost in its debut gym battle against Lucario, which is a very fair loss, and then its only other loss came against Byron and his love of fences. Ironically, he only lost its steel types, which is funny because both of his types are strong against it. Well, he was just a Chimchar at the time, but still. Regardless, he was the MVP. Good job, Infernape. The Sinnoh run was amazing. Every single gym battle was truly hard to rank, so especially for this video, we really want to know your rankings in the comments below. Don't forget to let us know why. But for now, let's lace up our shoes, take a plane, and head to the Unova region for Ash's next gym battle run. So as we get ready, I'll catch you later. It's been your boy LUAP, and I'm out. Peace.